honestly, just learning about food. What is a food? Asking the question, well, what is a food? Why do we open our mouths? Why do we put stuff into our mouths? When you start asking that question, you start getting the real answers. And found out that half this, well, not half, but pretty much all of what I used to eat wasn't really considered a food. The body wasn't using it the way a food is intended to be used. And so I started eating vegan for those reasons. And I started also getting a lot of acid reflux. And so with acid reflux, they made me change my diet up. So I had to eat a lot of vegetables. I had to take meat. Everything that I pretty much had to take out of the diet to fix that pretty much left me with being a vegan. And so I started going to Dr. Sebi and started working on, working out of his way of thinking, his philosophies, his diets, his herbs, his spices and bitters. It's been a part of my life since. And man, that's been 4 or 5 years. And I haven't had a cold, headaches. I don't get that kind of stuff no more. So that's a good testimony for being a vegan.
And if you want the exclusive, you want the tall boy, because he's going to bring you the exclusive.
Oh, man, it's always, the experience in front of an Atlanta crowd is always amazing. They're always full of energy. Atlanta knows music, It's a music spot. It's a hub. Everybody stops through here. The music scene is big here. So I always love coming to Atlanta. It's like a second home to me. I lived here for almost 13, 14 years. I raised one of my sons here. And so it's a second home for me, or maybe third, between Los Angeles here and Boston. It's like home. So I always love performance. It feels like performing for my home city. A New Edition reunion, yeah, I'm sure. We always seem to work it out when it's time. We've been talking about some things recently. I'm in the middle of doing my own stuff. My solo project is almost finished. I'm working with some of the greats again, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I mean, you just name it. I'm working with everybody that I know that just does great music. It's great to work with and do well working with me. So I'm bringing them to the table. Some of my own stuff with me and my man Digi, Jason Anderson. We're working on some stuff. Just staying busy, staying active, starting to tour, become part of the industry. I got my kids, my oldest, my firstborn, Nicole. She working on music, so almost finished with her stuff. Just going to try to drop a lot of things and just be on the scene and active more than I've been in more recent times. So that's the game plan, just be active. And in the midst of all that of course means New Edition as well. Bringing that back in out of hiatus and putting that back on the road as well. Talk about more about it? Well, what's to talk about? That's Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. It's one of those things that if I ever had the opportunity whenever I have an opportunity to do music, that's one of my first stops. I gotta go see them guys because I know they're gonna bring something out of me that I wasn't gonna bring out of myself. And just help me keep it professional and put it on the level that I know my music should be on and what people are expecting it to be on. So Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis are my music/producer gods, if you will. I can't do a project without them. It's just that real. Some of the struggles, I don't, it's all trial and error, just like life, I think it's with anything. Some of I guess, it's just learning the industry, the ins and outs, knowing when, when to strike, when not to, when to lean back. It's just learning the game. Being in it since I was, 12, 11 years old, been doing it that long. So I think that, the hard part is just being able to maintain. It's like sometimes people seem to think the tough part is getting a hit record, but if you can work with the right people and you have the goods, doing a hit record and coming up with that part of the equation is easy. It's once you win, once you get out there and you have a hit, how do you maintain that? How do you turn that into a career? Or how do you keep that going? That's the tough part. And I guess it's by the grace of God, never taking it for granted, always working on your craft and wanting to be better and feel like there's room to improve. That helps you stay around home. My first check, that's a question I haven't heard since the Candy Girl days. I think my first check, I spent it on Christmas. I got a first check for Candy Girl. It was like $1,000. And they gave me $1,000 for the Candy Girl album. And I bought Christmas that year for my family, my mother and my father, and that was the first time I did that. Second check, I remember buying a moped. Miz, you remember my moped, right? Rolling through the bricks. All of us went and bought mopeds. Yeah, but that was probably one of my first big purchases was a moped. Honestly, the game has changed. It's more information is readily available than it was when I was coming up and prior to me being in the industry. Now, just do your homework, do your research, understand the ins and outs. There's a lot to be known, and it's easy to find out about now than it used to be. So do your research. Of course, you're publishing and ownership, and as much as you can possibly get out of what you create, you want to negotiate that for yourself. You want to make sure you're on the lion's share of all portions when you're negotiating. You don't want to be on the back end or having to prove yourself a second or third album before you can start making money. So it's one of those things, the game has changed. If you do enough research, you can know all these things before you jump in there with both feet. You know what I mean? So just prepare yourself, do your research, and go in it trying to get all you can out of it, as well as trying to please people. I think that's a part of being creative. To be yourself at all times is going to be the better thing to do. You can stick with that longer. You can stay true to that longer. It's just an honest way to live. You go out there trying to pretend to be somebody else, and you win that way. Well, what are you going to do next? You got to almost kind of wait for that person to do the next thing so you can know what to do next. Just be original, be true to yourself, and that's always going to be a plus to me. How do I want to be remembered? I'm pretty much like I want to be remembered, man. I think at the end of the day, I like to spread love. I love the energy of love, feeling good, and I like to spread that. I think that for the most part, that's what I've done. So when I look back at my career, it's not about how much money I made. I like the fact that I was able to move my mother out to projects and make a better life for myself and my kids and stuff like that. It's always a plus. But what I've seen happen, what I've been able to do and touch, the lives I've been able to touch that I've, didn't even know the people. My music has reached their homes or reached their states or their countries and has lifted them in ways that I would have never been able to. Think that I would have that far of a reach. The love that I've been able to spread with my little voice and the little songs and stuff that I've been putting out since I was a little boy, that's my legacy. Love. It's called, the radio show is called Inside the Ride, and you can find it online on any of your outlets that allow you to, look up stations. Look for Inside the Ride. It's from Boston, Massachusetts. The Urban Heat, that's what it is, right? It's the Urban Heat. You look that up on what's the call letters? I forget, because they switched it. We just went FM. Yeah, 98.1 FM. Urban Heat, Boston. And my time is from 4 to 7 Eastern. It's called Inside the Ride with Ralph Tresvant. So check that out. You need other online networks that allow you to, check out cities or radio stations from different cities and states. What makes it different is Ralph Tresvant owns it. It's my show. That's what makes it different from any other show. No, honestly, it's a lot of things that makes it different. But one of the things is it's like old flashback music. It's radio the way it was when I grew up. So the way I watched DJs DJing, the way they interacted with people, the way that voice became the voice of the people, that was my voice. I wanted to listen to Skeeter or whoever it was at WILD, Elroy in the AM. I wanted to hear these, but they was telling me what was going on during the day. I kind of mimicked what they were doing with my show. And even the music, the music I played was the music I heard on the radio when I was growing up. And so the time period is almost like a capsule, recapturing a time where not just the music that was played during an era, but how radio and the DJs and the disc jockeys actually ran radio during that time, what it was like for us. So the experience is just like a flashback at radio, probably during the late 70s, early 80s. Honestly, just learning about food. What is a food? Asking the question, well, what is a food? Why do we open our mouths? Why do we put stuff into our mouths? When you start asking that question, you start getting the real answers. And found out that not half, but pretty much all of what I used to eat wasn't really considered a food. The body wasn't using it the way a food is intended to be used. And so I started eating vegan for those reasons. And I started also getting a lot of acid reflux. And so with acid reflux, they made me change my diet up. So I had to eat a lot of vegetables. I had to take meat. Everything that I pretty much had to take out of the diet to fix that pretty much left me with being a vegan. And so I started going to Dr. Sebi and started working on working out of his way of thinking, his philosophies, his diets, his herbs, his spices and bitters. It's been a part of my life since. And man, it's been 4 or 5 years, and I haven't had a cold, headaches. I don't get that kind of stuff no more. So that's a good testimony for being a vegan. What I say to thank you. To my fans, I said thank you. Thank you for all the love, all the support. There are no fans on the planet like New Edition / Ralph Tresvant fans. They're one of a kind. I've seen them all. I've been around all types of fans. I've watched them come and go for other artists with New Edition / Ralph Tresvant fans. They're still here, man, 30, 40 something years later. I just want to say thank you. I love you.
Did you like the video? That's right. Did you like it? Hit that like button.
Think
subscribe,
big, think tall.
and share
Think
it.
tall boy.
Tall boy. The Tall Boy Experience.